Hello and welcome back to Wager Talk TV. This is First Pitch, a 7-day a week show, or 7-day week show right here on Wager Talk TV, the platform. I want to quickly give a shout out not only for Tony, for Brian, for Dave, myself, everybody on the First Pitch crew. A new coupon code, MLB10. That is the coupon code you can now use, whether it's this is applicable for not just baseball, guys, for college football, for NFL as well. Use the coupon code MLB10 and get $10 off anybody's daily pick package. We've been doing a lot of specials for 30 days, a lot of specials for 7 days, guys. This is one for the daily pick packages for $10 off using the coupon code MLB10. I'll start with you, Dave. How are you doing? And have you added any more selections to your page at Wager Talk?
Not for individual sale. I played 2 baseball games today, but one's a free play and the other's -1. So don't use the coupon for me because you won't get there's no baseball package today. But everything's good. Won again yesterday, and we'll try and keep it going.
This coupon is exclusively for right here on First Pitch. I will not be giving this out on Twitter or any other platforms, just for the First Pitch followers. Brian, what do you have for the customers to use this coupon for?
Right now, I've got my big dog play of the week. Last week's big dog was a +183 winner on the Tigers. I believe they won that game 12-1. I also have an NFL play up on the site and 2 college football. But while I'm here, I do want to be transparent. We all want to be as transparent as possible. Yesterday, I used my first 5% play of the baseball season. Had a lot of success over the years doing the 5% plays. I'm very, very conservative when it comes to 5-star plays, 5% plays. And I had the Angels yesterday. Never in the game, lose that game 6-1. The good thing about it is if it was being played again today, I'd bet it again. And that tells me in the long run, I'm in pretty good shape on that game. But it didn't work out yesterday, and that's why they call it gambling. And I feel bad for everybody who did join for the 5% because there's a lot of guys that only buy the big plays. And unfortunately, I didn't live up to my reputation in that.
Well, you know what, Brian? I can respect the hell out of that, and I hope the viewership can respect the hell out of that because, we won't get into what we see on gambling Twitter, but you don't see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of people posting about their losses, talking about their losses. It just seems like everybody out there is hitting 100%. Every week, every month, every year. So I can definitely respect that out of you, Mr. Tony Finn. I saw you yesterday. What's changed? How you doing, buddy?
Good, and I hope everyone here is doing well. I mean, it's a good day when I wake up. You know what I say about that. So. Yesterday, I thought I was going to sweep. I thought I had a really good chance to sweep yesterday, 2 baseballs and 1 basketball. But if anybody who follows my Twitter saw me do a small rant about Dave Roberts last night, and I had Dodgers -1.5, and felt really fortunate to get a 10-6 lead in that game, to be honest with you. But they brought Jansen in the 8th to close it out, and they left him in the 9th. And I'll say it. I've said it 100 times. I've said it once, and that is. From people I know, Dave Roberts is a good person. However, he has monumental failures as a manager, and situationally, he's just not. He doesn't fit that role that I see a manager as being. That said, 2-1 for the day, small profit. We head into the day. Forget about yesterday.
Yeah, Tony, before we get started here, I don't think there's any small rants that you can do. I don't think you can do a small write-up on a game. I don't think you can do a small analysis on a game. I haven't seen it from you yet. I've seen a couple of your analysis and your write-ups. Those aren't small, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure you use every bit of the characters that you can use on Twitter in your rants. But you got to love it. Once again, guys, MLB10 is the coupon code, $10 off any daily pick package, not just MLB, any single sport that you would like. Myself coming off a 3-0 night, 1-0 tennis, 1-0 baseball, and my 5% NBA winner with the Miami Heat getting the job done. So we'll hope to build off on that. We'll get right into it, guys. Let's talk some baseball. Throw it to you here first, Brian. We got the Marlins taking on the Braves here. Lopez, Malone, -129. Total is 8, Brian.
Yeah, I like Pablo Lopez, but I don't know if we have the value with him here. It's a situation for me where, in fact, it was yesterday Miami got bet down pretty heavily too, and it was the right side. I think it's the right side again here. It's just that when you lose the kind of kind of advantage you had earlier. You get kind of down a little bit, but hey, a winner's a winner. And I think Miami right here, if I'm going to play this on Miami's the right side, Pablo Lopez continues to be one of these guys that nobody pays any attention to. And he's a guy who's only allowed 2 home runs in 38 innings this year. So as long as he's not giving up the long ball, which is something you always got to worry about when you face this Atlanta team, he's one of those guys I want to take a look at. Tommy Malone, in 3 of his last 4 starts, he's given up 2 home runs. So I like Miami here, although the price isn't what it used to be. That's the side I'm leaning to right here.
I don't like the price. And I had the Marlins yesterday in the first 5, so that worked out very nicely. That was my only baseball play. I'm not just not getting enough value here, and I did not like Lopez's last start. It might be a 1-game thing because he's a talented young guy, but he had a lot of command problems in his last start and got himself into a mess and ended up losing. In fact, that was a loser for me. I think I had Lopez first 5 against the Rays, and it's funny. Sometimes it's one pitch. He got a little squeezed on a 3-2 pitch that would have gotten him out of an inning, and then he just went south after that. And that's kind of the problem with young pitchers sometimes is one little thing can kind of set them off. And it happened to him, and he ended up giving up a bases loaded double, I think to Kiermaier, and that was the end of his game. He should bounce back. Malone is not a guy I particularly trust, but one thing Malone's been doing, and he is going to, as Brian mentioned, he gives up home runs. But one thing he's not doing, he isn't beating himself. He's got a great walk-to-strikeout ratio so far. And if you're not giving the Marlins any help, I'm not sure they can create enough offense to get you to the winner's circle. So this became a really tough game for me, where I guess I slightly favor the Marlins, but I'm not getting the price that I need to make it a play. I'd have to be getting about plus 125, plus 130. That's not there. So it's an easy pass for me.
Tony, no one's obviously forcing you to make a play on this game. It is one of our in-depth games we're going over here. Marlins, Braves, is there a play for you on the side or total you'd lean towards?
I didn't officially release anything on this game, and I didn't play anything personally on this game. I would have a lean towards the over, as Dave described, for the reasons Dave described. Plus, Stu Schoenwater is the umpire, and he's fairly hitter friendly. So, if I had a lean here, it would be to the high side of the odds makers number.
I don't pay much attention to umpires. Who is Stu Schoenwater?
I've
never even heard of him before.
Yeah, well, it's funny, Dave, because you and I have been watching this game long enough to the names we know are most of those guys are no longer umpiring anymore. A lot of them retired. They had 5 this year, and this is one of the young breeds. And most of these guys are they try as hard as they can to do the K zone because now the new they're graded by that. So they're graded. Even the unions is contracted to promote and demote and those kind of things. It's not like it used to be, not old school. So again, he leans a little bit towards to hitters though.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony, I'm going to throw it back to you here with the Reds and Cubs. We've got Bauer, Darvish on the mound. Cubs still pretty hefty favorites here. Is there a play for you in this contest?
I would be on Darvish. I played this exact matchup last start. If you remember, it was Darvish and Bauer, and I read about how Darvish is equal. I disagree, or at least a lot of guys said that. I don't think there's anything close. Darvish is, at this point in time, I like Fried's left-hander, and as far as right-handers go in the National League, I think Darvish has been the best so far. I would vote him for Cy Young, but I didn't play anything on this. I stayed away from the $160 or whatever it is right now. I saw it last night.
I did play this game, and it is a free play.
Hey.
So I want you to watch the video. So you can do that very easily in one of 2 ways. One is follow me at Twitter, at Dave Koken. The other is just go to my page at Wager Talk, and the video's right there, and you'll see what I played in this game. And by the way, the little note there that says smash that like button, you should not smash it. It's very bad for the keyboard. I know this because I'm a pretty fast typer, but I still am a 2-finger typer. I never learned how to type, and I have a tendency to smash. And because of this, the letters, particularly the letters that get used a lot, they're not even visible anymore.
Are they gone, Dave?
There's no. It's a good thing I know where the E is because it doesn't show anymore. So I annually have to go out and buy a new keyboard for my Mac, and that's what happens when you smash things. So don't smash the like button; just touch it. Touch it. But make sure and touch it.
I honestly never
Here's the
thought
moral.
I would hear that.
Here's the moral of the story.
Promotional line of the year. Everybody out there right now, gently touch that like button and show us some support. On the topic of Dave mentioning our viewership and getting that like button gently smashed, Raymond, Christian, Abel, Barry, Christopher, Jared, let's keep it going here. Get the questions flowing in, and we'll try and get to them as we can as we move forward. But like Dave said, he has his free play video up. I know he's been doing Koken's Corner. I used to read Dave's blogs. Every now and then he used to post them late at night, and now it's all video form. So first of all, hats off to Dave. A little golf clap for Dave moving to the video form on those blogs.
Now look at this. These letters are indistinguishable. That's what happens when you smash keyboards. Okay, so don't do that.
What about you, Brian? You got to play for us here in this Reds and Cubs game?
It's a gentle golf clap just to not get Dave off. And also, I have read a lot of Tony's books he's written. He doesn't know he's written any books, but he's probably the reason why I need laser eye surgery at this point. But let's get back to the game. Trevor Bauer and Yu Darvish. Bauer, 2.05 ERA. Darvish, 1.44 ERA. Kershaw, 1.50 ERA. Damn, these guys are doing some good work this year. Trevor Bauer, his last 5 starts against the Chicago Cubs, his game score has been 66. As Tony pointed out, these two went against each other just about 10 days ago or so. Bauer had a 51 and Darvish had a 64. This is going to be a low-scoring game unless something totally out of the ordinary happens here. So I can't lay the price with the Cubs because Bauer could just go out there and throw a no-hitter. He's just one of those guys that can do it. But he has had some problems in the past with the home run, whereas Darvish hasn't. Darvish in 50 innings this year has only given up 3 home runs. That's a major differential from last year. 178 innings, 33 home runs. Big year for Darvish compared to last year. I think a lot of it has to do with health. But I trust the management.
Well, it also has to do, not to interrupt, but it also has to do with the fact that that cutter is just nasty, and he's really learned to trust that pitch.
Yeah,
and it's made him a stud.
Well, a fastball. So, yeah, and I like the Cubs management. I like the Cubs organization much better than the Reds, which I've said before. Who it still amazes me how the Reds don't score more runs. Can't lay the price with the Cubs here, but it'll be a fun game to watch.
Dave, this is why you got to love the Wager Talk office in Detroit there. We see a correction made. Gently touch that like button, everybody. Koken said it. You heard him. You asked, they do. We'll see if we can get those numbers up. Guys, I want to switch over to quick games here. Get through these 3 in-depth games, and we'll do the quick hits and go through the rest of the card here. Astros, A's. I'm going to go back to you, Brian, then Dave will follow.
Yeah, the Astros A's here. Luzardo's been one of those guys, got off to a slower start this year. Didn't pitch as often as we'd like. He's got 38 innings pitched so far. But he's been decent, but he's been up and down all season long. He's got game scores, the good ones of 70, 66, the bad ones 40 and 19 at San Francisco. He just got crushed earlier. So he's been very inconsistent this year, but he's one of those guys that if you're looking for somebody to back in the future, if you play fantasy baseball and you're in a league that you can get somebody for a few years, Luzardo's the guy we want. Luis Garcia's pitched 4 innings out of the bullpen, getting a start here, so it'll be a bullpen game for the Astros. And as we've seen from the Astros this year, that bullpen could go either way too. So I'm going to sit this one out. I didn't see any value.
This is Garcia Day in Major League Baseball. There are 3 Garcias starting. And Luis Garcia, there are actually, I think, 2 Luis Garcias. This one is a prospect for the Astros who has his 4 innings against the Angels were the first innings he's ever pitched above high A ball. He's a good prospect. He's on that organizational depth chart for the Astros, but he's basically up right now because they're kind of shorthanded. So he's got to go out there. And the one thing that he's had problems with in the minors and in his first appearance in the majors is control. He walks a lot of guys, and that could be a problem against an Oakland team that is one of the most patient in baseball. They're very good at drawing walks. Luzardo has been back and forth so far, but I think he rates the upper hand here. And I know the Astros did win the second leg of the doubleheader yesterday, but they'd lost, 8 in a row prior to that. They're not in good form right now. I think the A's are the right side.
Dave, a quick question for you. I saw you tweeting, I believe, just maybe 2 days ago or the day before that about the robot umps. We see a lot of talk about that, and
God.
I don't want to get you into a rant. That's not really my goal here. But
it's not a rant.
Tony mentioned the younger umps getting involved here. What's the difference that we're seeing from the change? The biggest from certain pitches or anything like that being called certain ways. I mean, what has changed? What's the biggest bother?
All I can tell you is this: the strike zone is wider than it's ever been. Okay, and this is constant this year. We're seeing pitches 2 and 3 inches outside being called strikes. At the same time, they're squeezing on the low end. Pitches that are strikes are not being called strikes. The technology's there. Quite frankly, it's a really tough job. I'm not making it out. I'm not going to say, these umpires all suck, because they don't. They're doing the best they can. But I mean, they're just they're getting too many calls wrong. I watched the game with Ted Barrett behind the plate last week. I forget who was playing, and he missed somewhere between 30 and 40 pitches during the game. He just got them wrong. You can't have that. Okay. To me, use the technology. It's there.
Just real quick, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but when I was doing some media stuff with local junior hockey here, Dave, they used to have referees up in the press box that would do evaluations. Is it the same thing in the MLB? Are those guys up there getting evaluated every single night?
They might do evaluations, but the evaluations carry very little water because the umpires union is really powerful.
Right. Tony, we'll get right back into the baseball here. Astros, A's, your thoughts here.
Luzardo's been he's been pretty good. He's been hit and miss. I was looking at him last night, and it's almost like the zigzag theory that they have in basketball. Almost, he's been good, bad, good, average, good, average. In this situation, he would be happy. Although the price I think is a little bit high for me on Luzardo and his inconsistencies, he's the right side here. I just didn't play it.
Once again, guys, that coupon code is MLB10 for $10 off. But again, not just MLB. The code is using the word MLB because this is an MLB show. That it can be used for college football, NBA, NFL, whatever it might be. And I do a play tomorrow for the Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, opening game of the season. I do have a play best bet in that game. I know, Dave, a lot of people use the term rare. 5%ers. A lot of people talking about rarely release. Dave actually does rarely release 5% plays.
Yeah, I'll say.
So that is not salesy. That is not a pitch or anything like that. Dave didn't ask me to say this, but when Dave has a 5% play, you want to be on it. And I went and asked for these coupons to be made. So go ahead and use MLB 10 and get $10 off a package for not only Dave, not only myself, but Tony and Brian as well. Guys, we're going to get into the quick hit segment now. We're going to go down the list for the games that we did not cover and did not go over and try and find some winners in that area. I'm going to throw it right back to you here, Tony, with the Royals and the Indians.
Well, the Royals won a game yesterday, didn't they? And did it in comeback fashion. I didn't watch the game, but I glanced at the game cast, et cetera, et cetera. In today's game, listen, we've covered Duffy quite a few times, and Duffy has just – I expect Dave will say pretty close to the same things. I've listened to him. And by the way, just in Dave's case, when you're good, as Dave is, you don't need to release 5% plays. You just put your plays out there. And that's all you have to do. Guys like me, we got to kind of promote ourselves. We do it to 5%. Duffy, first time through the line, should be fine. He's not been very good. After the first time through, he seems to have a stamina issue as well. He's not the same pitcher he was in 15, 16, when the Royals were challenging for World Series seats or World Series dugouts. And Carlos Carrasco, what great stuff he has, and what a fragile mind he has. He's just so inconsistent. I'm sure that Brian will comment more because he's very close to the Indians, but it's hard for me to trust Carrasco as much as I want to.
I think the price is a little high, but it wasn't enough to entice me to bet the Royals.
Brian, you're obviously an Indians guy. I know that about you. We've seen this number come down a tiny bit on them, but the total opener at 8.5, some shops 7.5 now. What are you thinking about that?
I got nothing on the total here, but yeah, I agree with Dave. The number's a little too high here. The problem you have with the Indians pitching staff is it's been so great. Everybody is basing the plays on the pitching staff. And to be honest with you, Carrasco, as much as I like Cookie and, coming through with the disease he has and all, you've got to love the guy. He has not been that great of a pitcher. The last 5 times he's played Kansas City, his game score is 48. On the season, his last 7 game scores are 54, although the last 2 he's been really good, 72 and 60 against Milwaukee and St. Louis. But the Indians don't hit lefties very well. And Danny Duffy's got a lot of experience against the Indians. It's a situation here where possibly the best hitter for both teams won't be playing. Soler's out. They put him on the 10-day DL finally. And Jose Martinez is hurt a couple days ago, didn't play yesterday, not likely to play today. So this is a game where, Cleveland's done well against Kansas City in the past, but Kansas City has come up many times where they look to be the lesser team and they've got the victory in this series. So if I'm looking to play this one, I'm playing Kansas City.
Brian, I was told that I'm too nice on this show, but I feel like that might not have been a quick hit.
I've got plenty of others that are passive.
I'm just messing around with you, but the Yankees and the Jays. I'm going to go right back to you here with pretty much definition of 2 teams. I wouldn't say going in opposite directions, but bet on and bet against possibly. My money would be on the Jays, if anything here. Do you feel the same way?
I'd kind of lean with the Yankees here if I had to play it. Luckily, I don't. Tanner Roark's actually had a pretty good career against the Yankees, 55 average game score, but I'm going to sit this one out. Don't trust the Yankees offense. Don't know enough about Deivi Garcia at this point. He's been inconsistent in his 2 starts so far. Past this game.
Deivi Garcia, he's got a chance to be a pretty good pitcher, but he's young. And I like the Yankees, but I don't like the price. That's as simple as it gets for me. If this was 120, I'd probably played the Yankees. 135, 140, I'm not going to play the Yankees. That's what baseball is all about. You got to get the right price. If you don't get the right price, move on to another game.
Tony, anything for you on the total in this one of 10?
Well, only because I like the Yankees and I like Garcia here, and Garcia's new to the league, third appearance or 4th appearance. This is a guy that's unfortunate. I know Garcia. First off, I agree with this is a play on the Yankees. The price is a little high, but you play the Yankees here, you stay away from this game. Garcia is one of those unfortunates. He doesn't have the high swinging miss rate, but he gets strikeouts more than a strikeout per inning and does it with command. He's, as a 21-year-old, as Dave said, command is outstanding.
He's a good prospect.
Yes, he is. He dropped out of the 100 list in the prospects. But he's the number 1 prospect, pitching prospect for the Yankees, number 2 prospect overall. I like the Yankees here, and Work. He's a 5 ERA pitcher at this point in his career. That's what his career's better, but he's 5, and he's walking 5 guys 9 innings. It plays Yankees.
Back to you, Tony, with the White Sox and the Pirates. Minus 160 favorites here for the Sox, and total set at 9.
I'll go with while I hate to do it, I'll just go Dunning. I didn't play this, but Dave Dunning, Dane Dunning, and the White Sox here get revenge for yesterday, the game they blew.
Yeah, the White Sox haven't been losing much lately, and they did lose one yesterday. I would agree with Dunning being the right side here. He does still have some control problems, but the Pirates are not a patient team. They're right down near the bottom of Major League Baseball in walk percentage, so that would favor Dunning. Brubaker's been decent for the Pirates. I mean, his numbers are respectable. Not great, but respectable. Nevertheless, the White Sox have the better offense. One thing that I will say is that bullpens run in streaks. And right now, the Pirates' bullpen, for whatever reason, is having a hot streak. So that's a little bit of a concern. Consider the White Sox as a -1 here. Ultimately passed it, but that's the way I'd lean.
Brian, I can always respect an underdog better, and I know you cash underdog tickets all the time, and you have one up, I believe, as you said, for tonight. But hard to play the Pirates in that situation, honestly. They're a team that I would probably stay away from that. Would you agree with that? I mean, it's a tough team to back with a price like that.
Well, the White Sox are playing their 9th straight game on the road here, and they did blow that game yesterday. And to be totally honest with you, I almost used the White Sox yesterday, and the whole day I'm kicking myself as they're winning the entire game, and then I see they lose the game overall, and I thank God that I didn't give them out. So that's the way baseball is. So I like both these young pitchers. I think they've got there's some value in playing both of them, just not against each other. I will pass this one.
Baltimore, Lopez on the mound taking on the Mets and Porcello. I'm going to go to you here first, Tony.
I think these guys know how I feel about Porcello. Listen, Porcello's pitching to contact. The Mets take offense off the field behind him for defensive reasons. He pitched to if I play Porcello, it's because I'm fading him up. That's it.
No, I don't want Porcello at this price, and I don't want Lopez at any price.
Are you involved here at all, Brian?
Lopez this year, he's got a 5.59 ERA. He's only allowed 1 home run. Last year, he allowed 27 in 123 innings. Year before, 6 and 53. Both these guys are having terrible years. They're playing pretty good hitting teams. If I played this game at all, I'd be looking for the over.
Brian, you mentioned that Angels team from yesterday. I mean, they can really be an annoying team because sometimes it's just such a bet on spot, and they go ahead and do you like that? What are you thinking about here as a spot? It's about a pick 'em price here against this Rangers team.
I use this as my free play for today, and it's over on the website at Wager Talk. I'll let people go look for that and get my reasoning on it, and we'll go to the next guy.
All right. So Cody will be out there for a couple of innings, and then he'll get piggybacked. I'm not betting Julio Teheran. I can tell you that. I just don't see a play here. The Rangers actually won a game yesterday. That fulfills their quota for the week. So pretty much tells you this is an easy game to pass. You might get some offense here. I know the Rangers don't hit much, but I mean, geez, he has not looked good. He never was a power pitcher, and his velocity is ticking down now. So I mean, if he hits 91, that's as high as it gets for him, and his command's just not good enough. So he gets hit, and the Angels do have some offense. I didn't bet the game, but I actually might take a look at the over in this game.
Tony, it was so funny. Dave and I, when all the major sports weren't going on, doing our Korean baseball show, like I've mentioned before, you'd see some huge losing streaks, and what that really taught me, and hearing Dave say, this Rangers team met their quota, is that everybody should know this already. But I mean, everyone says you don't want to catch a falling knife, but also that whole quota thing, it's true. I mean, the Rangers won their game. Who knows when the next time might be? I don't have any interest in backing them to try and get back-to-back W's. Do you?
No, I kind of like the way they're playing because I've cashed a couple unders on this team, but I'm surely not going to back them to win. Yeah, and Dave Teheran, holy moly, this guy's nothing more than an innings eater. They go send him out there to eat some innings and hope he didn't give up more than 4 runs. That's the way I passed.
What about you, Brian?
We've already talked about this one.
Yep.
Oh, you had your free play. I'm sorry.
That's Brian. Brian's got a free play in this game, and it's at the website right now.
Chat box and stay engaged while we're rolling through these games.
I didn't know
on these games,
I didn't know you were engaged. Congratulations.
Yes.
Colorado, San Diego. Speaking of engaged, I'll throw it to you this time, Dave.
Oh boy, this Padres team is so much fun to watch. I thought there was regression coming for Davies because it's due, and then he goes out there last game and he's sensational. So I'm not going to go against him. Senzatellis, I said this the last time. I mean, his numbers aren't spectacular, but he's actually pitching pretty good ball, and he's been particularly good early in games. Factor in that he pitches half his games at Coors. First time through the order, 221 batting average, 587 OPS. Those are good numbers. So maybe he can contain the Padres for a little while. And Davies, he's doing it with mirrors. Well, he's actually doing it with really good command is what he's doing it with. But it shows you how a guy with average stuff can succeed in the major leagues if he puts the ball where he wants to. I think you might have a chance at cashing an under first 5 here.
It's the whole quick hits thing, I think, Brian. I thought we might have been onto a new game or something, but it must have been just still the same game we were doing for a couple minutes. But I'll go to you here now, Brian.
I think the underdog has some value here. Sensatella's pitched, his last 7 games. He's got 55 average game score, and 3 of those are being played in Coors Field. That's pretty impressive. You take a look at what his record's been the last 3 years against San Diego. Now, granted, San Diego's made so many trades that they got different guys at every position probably. But going back his last 5 starts, his average game score is 63. He's got a 1.67 ERA. And that includes 2 games this year, a 65 and a 65. Sensatella's been really good against the Padres, and you're catching him in a big number here. I like the dog.
Tony, I want to give you a minute here, and then we're going to lead you into the Dodgers Diamondbacks game.
Okay, well, I'll make this quick then. When Dave said he expected some regression from Davies, and then he said he'd been sensational, I swear. I thought he was going to say, and Davies has been Sensatella. I swear he was going to say that. Pass on to the Dodgers. The Dodgers, we know. I'm feeling I get over losses really quickly. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Doesn't take me too long usually. Kershaw against let me just say this. Kershaw against Clark. If I said that to you, what are you going to put the price at? It's too high. If you're going to play this game, you play the Dodgers on the run line. I didn't do that. I won't do that, and I didn't play the game.
Dave, real quick, I know on the new show, Wager Talk Today with Teddy and Prez, they've been doing a bad beat segment. And yeah, Teddy said today, and I was hoping they would discuss not really a bad beat, so to speak, but if you're a Dodgers run line backer, you might not be too happy today.
Well, yeah, but you were lucky. You were lucky to have a shot in the first place because the game goes to extra innings.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it can't be a bad beat.
Exactly.
And they might have lost the game if the kid Matheson had decided to swing it. One of the last 2 pitches from Jensen just stood there like a statue and took 2 strikes. Diamondbacks are 2-17 in their last 19 games. It was the last game on, so I watched their post-game show. And the only, that funeral dirge music, that was the only thing missing. Okay, it is just an absolute disaster. Torey Lovello's trying to put on the happy face after the game, and, we're going out there and we're battling. They suck. I mean, they're just so bad.
Dave, MLB post-game press conferences are second to none. I mean, they do not bullshit you one bit. You can tell in their eyes that they are done.
Yeah, and the Diamondbacks are beaten, and everything goes wrong from it. In the extra innings last night, I mean, the Dodgers had a runner at third, and the guy's dead on a ground ball. He is absolutely dead, and Escobar drops the ball.
Yep.
And that's just the way it's gone for the Diamondbacks, and they made it exciting in the bottom of the 10th. But I mean, it's Kershaw it's pitching brilliant baseball against Clark, who isn't. And even for a team that's used to losing, I think last night's loss still has to really be a pain in the neck for Arizona. I think the Dodgers would crush them tonight.
We'll let you run here, Brian, with final thoughts as well with the Seattle and San Fran. You can talk about that one.
Let's get to this one first, just to touch on it. The reason why you get the teams being honest with you is because you got 162 games. They know the very next day they'll come back as something else different. That's what I like about the post games for Major League Baseball. They're honest, as you pointed out. Great observation. I don't play big favorites, and when I seem to do it, I always find a way to lose. And as I told Dave before we got going today, the Dodgers are a game that how do you not bet against them in this one? My negative thoughts say that Arizona must be a lock. As for Mariners,
I love that word, Brian. Lock.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say that. There's no such thing as a lock unless you got a locker. Doing something with a locker. Anyway, these 2 teams are playing some pretty good ball, surprising a lot of people. I have a lean here with the Giants, but the line is starting to price me out of it. So slight lean with the Giants here.
Mr. Dave.
My stats say that Seattle might offer a little value in the first 5, but that's on the stats, and it's not on the way they play the game. The Giants are just I've arrived at the conclusion, and I think I'm right on this, that the Giants are simply a team that's going to exceed their numbers all season long. They're playing with just tremendous desire. And Gabe Kapler might never win any awards for strategy implementation, but I'm telling you what, he has got this team fired up on a daily basis. And I don't want to play against him. So, even though my numbers slightly favor Seattle in terms of the value, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to stay out of the game.
Tony, just for a second before we head to you with your thoughts to wrap things up here, I want to post this up. Obviously, I know what Dave is saying here in this one, but Dave, I want to let you answer this question from Indy because it's your play. So he says, Andrew, Dave's free play is Cubs, Reds, first five under 3. He said under 3.5 is juiced. What determines that? And I'll let you answer that.
The price. It's 3.5 was minus 135. That's the definition of juiced.
So yeah, pretty much Indy. He's trying to get a better price. He believes he still likes that play at 3, and it's a way worse price to get at the 3.5. So that's pretty much the answer for you.
I will never lay 135 on a total. No. Never.
Tony Finn, put this show to bed. Put the bow on it, whatever you want to call it. Wrap it up for us, and with your final thoughts here.
I would lean. Listen, the Giants have done exactly as Dave said, and I hope Kapler never changes because he's ruffling feathers. Not only with the media, with other managers. I like that. Giants hit left-handers better than they hit right-handers. I'll take Anderson today in a flyer.
Great information from Dave as usual. Brian, Tony, great to see you guys as usual. Once again, that coupon code, guys, MLB 10, good for $10 off any package, not just MLB, any single sport. And looks like we have a question here. I'll let you go over it, Dave.
No, I wanted to answer a question. I think Johnny Outlaw sent it in about the daily radio show, Las Vegas Sportsline, and when it would be returning. And the answer is it's not. The show is dead and buried. Unfortunately, terrestrial radio is not getting the numbers it used to. It's kind of an endangered species. Satellite radio is blowing it away.
Yeah.
And we've had the show is heavily sponsored by local sports books, but there's one sports book now that has taken over just about the entire city.
Unfortunately,
they don't buy radio time. So we were down to two casino sponsors. Quite honestly, it just wasn't going to pay to do it anymore. So Las Vegas Sportsline, after a very lengthy run on ESPN Las Vegas, is no more.
On behalf of these three guys,
I'm fine with that. So
thank you very much for watching First Pitch right here on Wager Talk TV. We'll see you tomorrow, usual time, 3 p.m. Eastern, for more baseball betting info.